Good morning, beautiful people. Akarsha is here holding this moment and embracing the beauty of being Akarsha. See, I had been to the top of that hill. You know what? The sound of that hill up there was something just like, the voice of God. So forget about all your worries. Trust me, once you go there, all the noises surrounding you will fall from there. Well, that is Madhugiri Fort, the Asia's number one monolithic rock, the world's second largest single stone rock. Fortunately, my hometown. And I'm glad to be here today talking about the environmental awareness. See, as far as we know, the human interaction with the environment has resulted in the devastating climatic change. Air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution. Listen, if we don't think for a while to call for an action, we all gonna suffer by an irreversible environmental change. See, our environment is like a huge balloon of transparent substance in which we are being. When this balloon was created, it was filled with a pure oxygen, pure gases, beautiful rivers, lakes, oceans, mountains and valleys, dense forests, and richly occupied by all kinds of terrestrial and the aquatic life forms. See, as far as I know, over the couple of years ago, due to an abrupt surge in population, today the traffic has become one of the worst conditions for all the commuters in cities. Despite of being aware of the condition, people are most excited and more likely to keep more number of vehicles for each of their family members. And these people are spewing out the toxic smoke into the atmosphere, unfortunately, which we are breathing in a hope to be alive. However, when man learned to tap the latent resources of nature, industrialization followed. This industrialization led to urbanization. Apparently, people began to think for themselves. They ran everywhere, all across the globe, to own everything for themselves. They cut down trees and trees in millions of acres of forests. They installed the manufacturing units on the banks of life-giving rivers. After all this, the greediness didn't let the man to realize that it was necessary, very important to treat the toxic effluents of industries before releasing them to rivers, lakes and oceans. But they ignored the most important fact of preserving the purity of environment, which results in the unprecedented levels of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, widespread of species extinction, deforestation, and high levels of nitrogen and phosphorus in the oceans. See, almost everything we do and we use creates waste that we either dispose of properly or more likely dispose carelessly into oblivion. But whatever we do, everything has a consequences that we may or may not see. Take for example, the tons and tons of carbon dioxide that we emit is constantly increasing despite our efforts to lessen the amount of carbon dioxide by using public transport, by reducing the food waste, by shrinking our day-to-day life carbon profiles. See, this carbon dioxide not only affecting our breathing air, but also increases the ocean's acidity, which results in the death of microorganisms and also the death of bigger fish that prey on these toxic microorganisms which are already dead. See, an example of such impact is the dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico. The decrease in oxygen cannot support life at the bottom of Gulf, which results in the continual depletion of life in the oceans. See, the selfishness combined with the human greed did so much damage to our beautiful balloon, which was so wholesome earlier but now becoming poisonous day after day. See, newspaper headlines, reporters often discuss the human impact on the environment. However, nothing or little has changed each time the humans are exposed to their own wrongdoings onto the planet. Now, let me put a question across to you. Now, it isn't a question, take it as a challenge. Are we human beings capable of bringing an environmental change? Can we restore the rich biodiversity as earlier? See, understand what comes to the question is selfishness and the human greed. Answer me now. Is the change possible from your side? Do let me know whether would you be able to go back all the way from 2019 to 80 or 90 years ago by quitting all the comforts that you've been attached with, which are seemingly hazardous to the environment. Do you understand what Akarsha is talking about? Do you stop keeping vehicles for each of your family members? Do you stop using refrigerators? Do you ban using plastics? Do you stop anything which is hazardous to the environment? Would you be okay with living an olden days lifestyle? Listen, I don't believe in adopting the principles of sustainable development would become helpful in preserving the biodiversity. But what I feel helpful is the humankind must take a step back and reduce some of its social and the cultural emphasis on what benefits humans and their wallets. If we don't take necessary actions, we ain't gonna stay here for a long time. We are gonna lose everything substantially. So are you ready to take a step back and reverse all the way from 2019 to an olden days lifestyle? Otherwise, seemingly we would face the doomsday because of the irreversible environmental impact by the human interaction. So let's be eco-friendly. See, there is nothing wrong with you and I, but there are people, no matter how much ever the publicity is thrown into light, nothing is enough to truly impact to cause a change in their way of life. Yeah, thinking in affirmative to the environment, we all gonna support and start a non-profit organizations, recycle or use plastic water bottles, and support our organic processes and industries. How do we really stop the exponentially growing negative impact of our environment? How do we do that? We already know people couldn't give up their comforts and dive back into an olden days. But I'm ready for that. If you do so, we all together can preserve the beauty of nature. Well, what about others? If they ain't support us, how do we gonna accomplish the deal? That's why here is a simple idea to seal the deal. Let's plant saplings everywhere and await for the fresh breeze. Yo, do you know what is so special about trees? Listen, we must go hand in hand with the trees. They are the most evolved species of all plant world, and the plant world is very large world on this planet. The leaf of a tree, just one leaf, any leaf of any tree that you want to look at, is an absolute unique living system. It's unique to our planet itself. There is no other system in all of our galaxy that has produced something simple as a leaf and yet profound as a leaf. Because it pulls in carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere in the presence of sunlight. It changes the carbon dioxide again in the presence of sunlight by a kind of dance. A tiny little dance of a sunlight, which is called photons of the sun. The dance is an extraordinary one. It depends on the sine wave form of the light, which fires up the reaction in the mesophyll, in the chloroplast of a leaf, and takes carbon dioxide into oxygen, holds the oxygen, and then carries more carbon units and forms the sugar. Then the oxygen is evolved, oozed into the atmosphere, sweetens our atmosphere, which enables all the mammals everywhere, all over the globe to breathe. Well, this is about the importance of our trees. Make a note of it, jot it down. Well, Akarsha is signing off. Wish you happy environmental day. Keep planting trees and wait for the cool breeze. See you.